then we capitalize on what we see. Wanna go to Pitville? Come join the Pip Academy and learn the Pip drill. Let's take the trip to Pitville.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? I want to welcome you back to my channel. Today is February 9th, 2026, and I want to thank you guys for joining our channel today. It's been a while since I recorded a video, but in this particular video, I wanted to be specific with two particular pairs, with gold and with Bitcoin. So as of late, there's been a lot of buzz with gold and Bitcoin, and so I'm going to break it down from a technical analysis I'm going to break it down from a technical analysis perspective to kind of give you guys an insight exactly what's going on with gold, if you can capitalize on gold, and the opportunities that are out there. Okay, so looking at gold right now, this is a daily time frame, and for those that are new, you have different time frames that you can look at gold. Like right now, if you see this in the upper corner, this is a D, that's for daily. You got a 4 hour, 1 hour. You can break it all the way down in this micro form to 1 minute time frames. But right now, I want to look at the big picture. I want to look at the daily time frame. And one of the things that you can see that gold has been on a huge rally for quite some time. So if you look at the market from, let's look at this area here, and I'm going to draw a box around this area here. Okay. The reason why I chose this area is because this is a range or consolidation period. You can see that gold was moving in a sideways pattern. All right. And then starting from, let's see what the date is on that. If we put our crosshairs on there, that was right around March of 2024. All right. So that was roughly about 2 years ago. We can see gold, once it kind of broke the 2000 mark. If you look over here, this is right, price was right around 2000. Price decided to give a nice impulse to the upside. Okay, and then you can notice that you had these pockets of consolidation, impulse, consolidation, impulse, things like that. And so you can tell, so for example, we saw price rallied, we had a nice little consolidation in this area here, which was right around 2800. Price gave another impulse. We had another consolidation pocket here, which was right around, let's see, this was around, I would say, the 35 to 31 area. We had another little situation here. It's not as much consolidation. However, we pretty much just had an impulse to a higher high, higher low, and it shot all the way up. So if we look at the all-time high for gold, gold hit right around, let's see, gold hit right around 5602.22. So let's put that on here, 5602.22. All right, gold all-time high. What's that? 5602.22. All right, that's the all-time high for gold. That's what it's hit. Let's do black, that way we can stand out and see it better. All right, that's the all-time high. That's where gold was at its highest point. Okay, and so we start to see a massive sell-off. However, the market is still bullish. And when I say bullish, for those that are new, bullish means an uptrend. When I say bearish, bearish means a downtrend. And I say it's still bullish because let's just say if you put a trend line on this particular pair or whatever, you can see that the market is still in an uptrend. Okay. And that is when you look at market structure, healthy market structure is when you have peaks and valleys. For example, you have a higher high here, price comes down to a low, you got a higher high, higher low, you know, in this area as well, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price is given a correction, or we call a pullback, which is a potential higher low. So with that being said, we're looking for price to possibly take out this all-time high and continue to the upside. Now, if you look at the daily market structure, I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put these lines and things like that. And let me hide this line here, okay? So when you're looking at the daily structure, I have these different areas kind of marked off. That way you can see the peaks and valleys of the daily time frame. All right, and we can see down here is the daily protected area. And what I mean by that is if price decides to break this area, that's a change of character. And what I mean by that is, like we were talking about an uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Let's say you get a higher high and it breaks this low right here. That's considered to be a change of character because now the trend has changed. Because what it'll do is it'll give a correction or a pullback, and now we'll start to see lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low. So at this point, we're still in an uptrend where we're giving higher highs and higher lows. But like I said, if it breaks this, it'll give a correction and we'll start to see a change in the trend. All right. One of the things that we can notice that when price gave this huge pullback, it was looking for a level of demand. And what a level of demand is, when we were looking at all of these different pockets here, these consolidation areas, these are levels of demand. And what that means is you have buyers and sellers that are fighting for fair value. When price is moving sideways, that's when price is at its fair value. Prices are battling. But whatever direction a trend is in is typically which side will possibly win. Okay, so in this particular instance, we're in a bullish trend. So you got buyers and sellers that are competing in this area, and then they decide, and then the buyers end up taking over. Price decided to rally. You got another impulse here, fair value. They get the rallying in this area as well. Fair value, a rally, fair value, a rally. And you can see in these demand areas, price typically sometimes will come back and test that area. In this area, there was a huge pocket of demand in this area here. And I say that because I'm gonna show you guys something. Let's say if I came to this area here and I put a box right here to here, okay? And I'm gonna change the color of this box. Let's just do a gray box or whatever. If we look at this, I'm gonna remove these things here. We can see, for those who understand support and resistance, okay? Support and resistance is pretty much, think about a ceiling and a floor, okay? If you're looking at support and resistance, let's look at this here, okay? Your ceiling is considered to be a resistance where price will come down, and if price is up under this area, the ceiling acts as resistance. The floor is support, okay? Support. You got resistance and support, all right? So just wanted to give that little quick nugget. But right here, you can see in this particular area, price act as resistance. There was some respect here. Price came up, bam. Price came up, resistance, resistance. It decided to break through, come back down, act as resistance. Price came up and it acted as support. Price gave a nice rally and it came all the way back down to this area again, act as support. So this is a nice key level here that price is respecting in this area. And this is right around the 4,400 area. Okay, just wanted to put that out there. So let's go back to our daily structure. So now with gold, as you guys can see, price then came down, hit this level of support, it then hit this demand area where price was sitting in this pocket of this range area. And so now price is starting to rally back to take out this target. I put target in there because when you're in an uptrend, and you got higher highs and higher lows, as you can see that when you're in an uptrend, price is looking to take out that last high. So right now, this is our last high. So we're looking for price to possibly, take out this particular high. Okay, so overall, gold is still bullish. So right now, price is in a correction, and from what I can see, technically, price is gonna pretty much bypass its all-time high. I hope that makes sense to you guys. All right. So now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Last week, Bitcoin dropped all the way to the 60,000 mark. And just like we were talking from gold, remember I tell you guys about these ranges where there's a price fighting for fair value, your buyers and your sellers. And this is when price seems to be consolidating in that range. So if you look at that from a Bitcoin perspective, you can see there's a huge range in this area. We have prices fighting back and forth. But at this particular time, price was in a bullish trend. So the buyers end up winning. But what did price do? Price decided to rally for a long time. Bitcoin ended up hitting its all-time high, which was right around, what's this? 126 or so, or whatever. Then price came all the way back down to this big old level of demand. Bounced off this 60,000 area here. Okay? But let's look and see Bitcoin's rally for quite some time and when Bitcoin actually started. So let's just look at this area right here. Okay, this trend here. And this started back in 2022. We can see price was right around 16,000 and then price started to rally. Price just started to rally. Okay, and then we can see in this particular area, we got higher high, higher low, 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 higher high. Now, remember when we were looking at gold and we talked about transitions, okay? We talk about change of characters and things like that. So as you can see with this bullish trend here, price decided to change characteristics. This last high here, we can see that price broke, and now you can see that price started to go in a downtrend. Okay, so right now on gold, from a daily time frame perspective, we're on the daily, gold is bearish. Okay, hence why price decided to rally all the way down to 60,000. So now let's put the daily markups on here so you guys can see this in detail. So now these right here lets me know my peaks and valleys. Okay, so if we look at this, let's just look at it. We got a higher high, higher low. Price broke this high, higher low. Price came up, higher high, and we had a change of character right here because it broke the last low. Price gave a correction pullback, and as we can see now, we're doing lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And so if we look at this point now, we're in a bearish trend. Lower high, lower low. So when you get a lower low, what are you looking for? You're looking for price to give a pullback or a correction to pretty much give you a potential lower high. Okay, so right now we're in our correction phase. And so I'm looking for price to come back to this daily premium zone. And what do I mean by premium zone? So we utilize tools in trading called Fibonacci. And basically what Fibonacci does is it measures the pullback of any swing. A swing are these peaks and valleys. So let's just say more times than not, price will come back at least 50% of its swing. So we have this tool right here. Let's just say if I bring this tool like this, okay? You can see you have a 0, 50%, and 100. All right, so let's measure the last swing so you guys can kind of see how this works. So let's say from this swing here down here, let's just see what this swing was. So if I take this Fibonacci tool and I put it from this high here down to this low and I move it across, you can see that when price gave a pullback, it came at least 50% before it decided to drop back off. Okay, let's say if I did something with these swings here or this swing here, let's see. Now, I'm not saying that every single time it'll come within that premium area, but let's just measure and see though. Okay, let's measure from this high and this low. Okay, and you can see that price rallied almost to that 50% before it dropped off. Let's try this high and this low. So if I move this up here and I move this here, you can see price came down and it rallied at least 50%. So statistically, we can see that gold typically rallies within that particular parameter. This golden zone represents that 50%. So if I took it from this high down to this low here and I moved it across, you can see this is equivalent to that 50%. This area here is right around 78,000 or the 80,000 range. So I'm looking for price to rally somewhere up in this area. I'm not saying that it'll go directly to this area and just drop, but I'm looking for price to come somewhere in this particular area. Okay, now if price decides to break the 98 area, if it decides to break that, that will be considered as a change of character. Okay, and from that perspective, if price breaks this area, it's going to give a correction, and then price will change its characteristics from bearish to bullish. All right, hey you guys, I hope this was informative. I hope this particular technical analysis allow you guys to see Bitcoin and gold from a technical perspective. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Until then, I hope this was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for watching.
Then we capitalize on what we see. Wanna go to Pitville? Come join the Pip Academy and learn the Pip drill. Let's take the trip to Pitville.